For the message about the cross is foolishness to those who are perishing, Paul said, but to us who are being saved it is the power of God. Now, strange as it may sound to us, the medieval church took horoscopes quite seriously. Of course, casting horoscopes was viewed differently than it would be today, and it was not practiced in anywhere near the same manner. It was also not seen outside of God and theology. Much of the time, the modern horoscope is vague enough to apply to almost anything. Sometimes when it offers advice, it is sound and could be well applied to almost anyone's life. But several years ago, I read one that I found incredibly personally offensive. It basically said, "Forget about all that sacrifice stuff from now on. It's time to put yourself first." Well, it made me sad to think that there might have been some people who would take this horoscope seriously. They may have mistaken the very appropriate need to take care of yourself with a selfish desire to put oneself in front of everything and everyone else. It strikes at the heart of the difference between the world's wisdom and the foolishness of the cross. To put oneself before God is the traditional definition of the basis of sin. Jesus told us that what we do to others is in fact what we have done to him, and so to put ourselves before God, or to put being selfish and uncaring before the needs of another human being, is also what we would call sinfulness. Perhaps that is also why being selfish seems to lead to unhappiness. I've known plenty of selfish people, but I've never known any who it seemed were truly happy. Unfortunately, the only thing that they were generous about was in spreading their unhappiness to others. Now, I've also known a great many very unselfish people. And in all honesty, they had varying degrees of happiness. But they averaged consistently better, I found, than those who think only of themselves. And they tended to create happiness rather than to subtract from it. The cross will stand for all time as the ultimate symbol of self-sacrifice. It will always speak of the willingness to put God and other people in front of our own comfort, our own pleasure, our own profit, or even of life itself. And for the world, Paul said, the cross speaks of foolishness. To be a Christian and to invite people to follow Jesus could not have been an easy thing in those early days. It was not a matter of simply asking someone to join a criminal mafia or something. Many innocent people had died on crosses. And so it's not like, like I say, that you weren't saying, hey, you want to come join the mafia and maybe you'll get crucified. No, many innocent people had died in crosses. Everyone knew that. But to have died on a cross meant you were a loser. You'd failed at whatever it was you were trying to accomplish. The Romans had killed you. Power had won. And to the world, the Christians were on the losing side. They were on the powerless side. They looked like fools. And it is hard to join a company of fools. But those who did join found what Paul wrote to the Corinthians to be true. That God's foolishness is wiser than human wisdom, and God's weakness is stronger than human strength. Paul knew that death on the cross had not stopped human evil, but he also knew it had not stopped Jesus. Those who disagree with the cross can only hate or sneer or laugh at it. They can't destroy it any more than those who crucified Jesus could stop his spirit from going out into the world. And the cross isn't made out of wood anymore. It's not made of brass or of silver or of gold. It is fashioned in the hearts of believers. It is fashioned even in the hearts of skeptics who find themselves troubled and yet drawn by the power of Jesus Christ and his cross. Today happens to be, I think, around the feast day of St. Francis of Assisi, and I look at the witness of his life. His father was wealthy. He had the opportunity for all that the wisdom of the world could offer him. He chose instead the foolishness of the cross. His songs are filled with a sublime joy that I have never found in the wisdom of the world. No one has ever been able to offer to humankind anything that does what the cross accomplishes. The wisdom of the world leads us only to ourselves, to our own resources, and also to our own fears, our doubts, and our faultiness. The cross has the power to lead us beyond ourselves, to light, hope, and peace. Now, no one can prove that self-sacrifice is better than selfishness. It isn't something that can be tested in a scientific laboratory. Like beauty, it is in the eye of the beholder. And God has made us free to behold it any way that we wish. In the same way, we cannot prove to the world that faith is better than no faith, or that love is better than hate. We can only do what all Christians have done through the centuries: bear witness to it, to the power of the cross, to the power of Christ in our lives. Amen.